Hello, navigators. Welcome to yet another episode of Navigating Life with Viwe. We are back for another insightful conversation. Niasazimos, we keep it coming, right? We keep the content coming, and thank you so much for the feedback. We have been enjoying hearing from you, and thank you for those that take time to comment and to let us know what you guys think about what we're producing. And we also want to say thank you, especially for those that remember to press subscribe. Okay, no like. Remember, it's all we ask. That's it. There's nothing more that we ask. So if you haven't yet, please go ahead and subscribe and press that like button. Do share with your friends. Let's grow this community of navigators, okay? And in kicking off today's conversation, with our Uncle Bay, Uma Wetu. Hello, Uncle Bay.
Hello, Viwe.
Have you adjusted fully to you being called Uncle Bay, though? How do you feel? Feedback time.
I don't think I'll ever adjust.
Are you
adjusting to the vivacious Viwe?
Oh. If only I was vivacious, like adequately here, you know, like. But I'll live with it. I can take it. I can take hard stuff.
Say it again. We have seen more of what you are saying. Don't let me go there again.
All right, navigators.
I love where this is starting.
Right.
This is becoming uncomfortable, and let's move on. Uncle Bay, you are just on another path altogether.
I withdraw.
Respectfully.
I retract
It
and
cannot
apologize.
be. It cannot be. Ucho no judge Baloy.
It cannot be.
It cannot be that I'm made to feel uncomfortable upon returning here. But yes, once more, we've got our very own. We haven't quite coined a term to call you.
You know, you're...
And I want to take from the conversation that we had from the other day.
Yeah.
And I want to propose a name.
Oh,
you can
right.
vote with your hand.
Oh, to the one.
Ne?
Or two hands.
Oh, to the one.
All right.
Oh, why am I
You
worried?
don't seem ready, but before I'll reveal at the end of this episode. How are you, Brian?
I'm good. I'm nervous now. I'm nervous now about this name.
Keep it together.
Like I'm dropping mics here.
Together.
No,
Keep it
no.
together.
It's only
good.
us, bro. It's
Yeah,
only
bro.
us.
Bro, like
It's a safe space.
Yeah, with you. I'm kidding. No, I'm good, V. Productive week. Yeah, man. Life is good.
I love
Life
that.
is good.
I
Coming
love
along.
that. All right, so we keep cooking, and some of the cooking does get assisted, although I need to say it up front by your feedback. We are here for another topic, and today I know in recent times we spoke about love, everything love, and I'm sure we all identified closely with what love is to us and how we'd like to have it in our lives, if that makes any sense. But namhlanje, we're here to also just dissect a bit further on that topic of love. But we're not just talking to somebody who might be looking to practice. Is it to practice or to participate or to do what? To find themselves in love. Now we're saying even for those that are in love, what is the price of being in love? What's this downside of being in love? Because siyayazimos in life, life is a balancing act, mos. For whatever good there is, there's also the downside. So we're here to talk about everything that concerns the not so great side of love. We're here to talk about gaslighting in relationships. We're here to talk about trust issues and living with them in relationships. We're here to talk about stonewalling. Ladies, I don't know. I just think we might be caught with whatever on that particular topic. We are here to also talk about weaponizing sex. I don't know who's guilty, whether we can say it's gender specific or not. But I'm actually going to shoot to one of my co-hosts because I honestly just want to also be educated on this one. Stonewalling. In relationships, we have disagreements. We have times where we actually don't even want to talk to each other. But what does it mean to be in a relationship? Does it mean we have the freedom to not engage? Or must we always engage? Who do we look out for? Do we always work from the compass of how I feel or what is good for the relationship? Mawet?
Look, silence is golden. All right. We don't have to be in our high spirits all the time. Sometimes I do believe that we bond and connect better when we are at odds with each other, right? The fact that you are present, we are both in each other's space, but we're hardly reaching out to each other, is also a way of bonding, contradictory as it is, right? However, I don't think it's something that can be sustainable. I always believe in the principle, don't let the sun go down on your anger. If we share the same bed, then surely we need to break the silence and confront things that make it impossible for us to be on speaking
I
terms.
love that. Do you know why I love what he's just said? Because on a principle level, I'm sure we can all sing in unison.
On a principle level.
Yes,
Yeah.
At a principle level,
Yeah.
we talk about don't go to bed upset,
Angry,
at your partner,
Yeah.
right? And I actually just want you to take this one home for me because yes, I love that you've laid it out for us to know that. I mean, I'm not necessarily, spiritual in the context of religion,
Yeah.
but even I can quote Tuba. The Bible also warns us against going to bed with our anger in our hearts. Right? And now that we've laid that principle, now when it applies to you now, Mawet,
Yeah.
right? And I want to create a mini scenario to say, I imagine that when you feel like you have been saying, I don't like A, B, C, D, and F, right? Do you not lose the courage to keep saying it and maybe resort to withdrawal? And which could actually be termed stonewalling. In other words, is that not something that sometimes feels justified? Is it something honestly that should not exist? There's no context for it to exist, according to you and how you have seen yourself when you were in a relationship. Were being the operative word.
I think it becomes unhealthy when it transitions to sulking. You are allowed to give me silent treatment. Right? You can give me silent treatment, which I understand.
So
And
silent
sometimes
treatment is on its own.
Silent treatment is on its own, yes. But sulking for me is basically a matter of saying you just want to hold on to your hardened views, even though you do realize that you can no longer sustain your own silent treatment of me. It's like you found it reasonable to talk to me, but you just have to live up to their pride of not talking to me, right? And you just sulk, basically. And I try and address something that is unrelated to what we fought about. And you just descend on me with that rebuffing attitude. You just decide to snap, to yell, and to just disregard whatever else I'm trying to address with you, because our lives do not really resolve around the point of conflict alone. There are other things to be done. There's bread to be bought. There's kids to be fetched. So we need to communicate around certain issues. Now you are also blocking and stifling debate or engagement around those issues because you just can't move beyond that source of conflict. So why don't we unlock this source of conflict so that we can have easy access to engaging around other issues? I don't know if I make sense.
You are making sense. But as I always say, we have to fetch this thing from a point of principle to a point where we're saying practically how does this thing unfold.
Yeah.
And Brian, I want you to maybe come in. I know you haven't said the statement, but I saw you were nodding, so I almost assume you were agreeing in part with what Wes was saying. You're more than welcome to tell me otherwise if I read you wrong.
It's not nice when you guys are completely silent.
I'm listening.
So I like he's engaging. He's not necessarily agreeing, but
No, I read a different body language, but let me come in because I want to say, imagine for a second, because I don't want to go into your personal life too much, but let's say you are dating a person like a Viwe, who is very forthcoming, very bubbly, very talkative, very, expressionful, if that's even a word.
Sure.
And how do you separate then when I go silent, sulking from silence, right? Because for me, I feel like if you are silent, you are communicating something.
Yeah, of course.
That's where I come from.
Of course.
But how you then decode my silence as sulking is totally independent of my physical action, which is silence. Now, can you honestly always separate silence and sulking?
I won't say you can always, but there is a difference between the two.
Take me along.
You won't always be able to differentiate
Separate.
between the two, but there is a difference between the two. And let me start with silence on its own, right? Indobana, okay, cool. So we're in a relationship and you are angry about something. Your silence already speaks volumes,
Yeah.
right? And it's enough of a punishment. Okanye, it's enough of a red flag for me to realize, Indobana, there's something wrong. Now, when I come and engage you, Indobana, bro, kwenzeke ntoni? And then you decide to, that is sulking. And I'm not even going to lie to you, Wes, I think it's the most childish thing because it doesn't resolve anything.
No, it doesn't.
It resolves nothing.
Whoever is guilty, stop it.
I think it's the most childish thing ever in the when I'm trying to engage you, because your silence already speaks volumes, right? As I've said, and it's enough of a punishment. If if you were to shout at a child,
Yeah.
and they start crying, right? That is them showing remorse, right? So it's pointless ke ngoku uqhubekeka ushouta. Just as in with adults, indobana, the more silent you remain ngoku after it's been established that I've made you angry. Xa ndikubuza indobana, except can we talk about this, okanye let's try and resolve this, and you still, it's
I almost just want to say, there's just this unilateral view that you guys are holding on this thing, ne? And look, you guys are at least we can agree that you both speak against this whole silent.
Yeah. Silence.
So
silence.
would you though, Viwe?
Silence doesn't
What
resolve
would you do
anything.
if every time we have a moment of disagreement and we are not solving it to my satisfaction, right? It's two people with two different viewpoints, right? And now I'm not satisfied that this thing has gone my way. Up until such time, I just decide to give you that passive aggression, that silence, that, look, I know she's going to be approaching me on certain things that appeal to her. I'm going to block her. All right,
but also
How would you feel?
No, but just remember, you're a man. Like, why are you silent? like, guys, no, let's not be impractical. No.
And if you
There
notice,
are men
and
who
if,
do
and,
that.
and if you notice,
there are
if,
men who do that.
No, I want to actually call out.
If
I
you
wanna call
notice,
out.
I didn't say whether it's a woman or a man that keeps silent.
I'm
I
being very
You are being
gender
sexist.
specific. I'm being sexist, and I'm standing on it.
I'm not gender specific when I say Indobana, because there are some guys who actually prefer the silent treatment.
Sorry.
And it's unbecoming of a dude, in my opinion, Indobana uvele.
Bro.
Ubehile way. Like, dude,
Wait,
you're
let
upset.
me say.
Yeah.
Let me finish what I was saying in responding to you, right? That first and foremost, if you are a guy I'm dating, you do not have room to give me silent treatment. Like, it's not something I would accept beyond the first encounter, right? Our chances of surviving are very small.
Yeah.
But creating context now for sometimes, because I don't necessarily, as much as I'm standing on sexism on this one, when behavior, when I can tell you of times I've been silent, as talkative as I am, right?
When?
Yes, me. When I have been
It's not
silent.
daylight to be telling folk tales, man.
Guys, I'm actually being for real. Ayonto Milena, guys, when I have been silent, yes, I'm the biggest addresser under the sun. For me, it's like, hey, aslale, what the, but there's been moments where you find yourself, man, right? I keep having to say this thing. And because you are hurt, you are trying to process, hey, it seems like I'm not being effective here, right? You get into this whole withdrawal and silence. And the last thing that you need, in fact, in that moment, it's tricky for somebody who's dating you, because they're gonna, that's when they need to show how artistic they can be, right? They gotta give me enough space, but not too much. Is like ibengathi akakhathali, know. So you've got to afford me space, but that space has got to be with a bit of I still care. However you balance it out,
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is that silence is not even something that you enjoy as the silent person. By the way, so as much as you guys look at it as though ingati it's some weapon formed against you, this whole silence thing, and that when you want to discuss lunch boxes, you are clearly a very unhappy person as a silent person. By the way, you're very unhappy. You are questioning a lot of things in that time.
Then speak about your unhappiness.
But
what is
your
it that's making you
unhappiness,
unhappy?
you actually become the last person I want to address it with, because I feel like I can assess.
Then say that.
No, but my
though.
feedback from your action is saying, whatever I've been saying has been ineffective. And what else can I maybe do? And amongst those is even considerations. Do I stay in this relationship?
Yeah.
Do you understand? And
Yeah.
it's a very brutal time for your heart as well. As
Yeah,
you're silent.
yeah.
As you're silent,
But
right?
this is a point where I feel it compounds your resentment towards me, right? Because you are silent, and the more silent you are, the angrier, in my view, you become.
Bro.
Because you're still dissatisfied with the way I'm doing things. On the other side, I am confused as to how I can reach out to you. Sometimes I am confused as to what has been my misdeed in the first place. This person just decided to go silent on me.
Bro,
right?
this is where I was coming to Indobana. We've established that something is wrong, but I don't know what it is.
Yes.
And in your silence, you are depriving me. You are the one who carries the most power here, because you know what has gone wrong, and you don't want to talk about it. You don't want to address it with me. I am left lacking here on some, okay, I know something's wrong, but I don't know what it is, and I don't know if it is even fixable. Kandi, if you had said, Indobana, yo, I don't want to address this with you because it's been happening, then at least I know, Indobana, okay, this is not going to be addressed with me. Let me go and seek help elsewhere, perhaps izokwazi ulungiseka lento lena. Not ubana ube wena uhleli uyi-one harboring all of these emotions. Ubana heart attack, bruh.
I feel like we can't divorce being sexists for this topic, because as you gents are talking, I almost wanted to reach out to a lady, but there's no lady next to me, at least close enough, you know, because I wanted to say, nango ke amadoda. They never know what they did. They never know why we're quiet. It's always for them such a mystery
show
as
me.
to how we got to where we are.
Yeah, but
That's a
bro,
downside of a relationship. Niyabona nabajolayo sana ngumnqamlezo, sithwele.
the biggest thing is communication. What brought us together was communicating. I said hi, you said hey, we communicated. That's what brought us together. Kutheni ngoku sizakohlulwa yi-lack of communication?
Listen,
Okanye ndi wrong ways.
however we sit on
Okanye is it the way I put it?
Get a Tony Cephelisha del
Lelidala.
no, but look at them. They've reduced this whole serious conversations to amacebo.
Okay,
and
Ryan, stop
and
it.
you wonder
Ryan, come on.
and you wonder
No,
why
it's-
they never know what went wrong
No.
and what got us to a point of silence.
That's wrong though. Like to perceive it that way is completely wrong. No.
Make it right.
That's not cool. Look, you said earlier on when you were talking to Uwes Ubana, do you have the courage? When you asked him, you said, if you've been saying something repetitively, do you then have the courage to say it again? It's not the courage, it's the patience to say it again. If I keep on telling you, Ndobana, andithandi indlela obeka ngayo iglass.
No, andithanda obuya kwakho ngo-11 ebusuku
Okay.
ndingakwazi uba ubuphi.
That's cool. Yeah, that's cool.
It's a serious offense.
Bro,
It's not like
the thing
you
is,
can
the thing
forget,
is-
hey, uqumbele
the
ntoni
thing-
kodwa ungene ngo-11.
The thing is, V, kaloku, you can't. Okokuqala, it's not the courage to say it again. It's the patience to have to say it again, which is what pisses you off, and what makes a person keep quiet. Because I don't have this patience. I don't have time for him. That it's not the courage. The courage to say it, you've had it.
Can I also ask you guys a
right,
question?
I think-
Can
I
I ask
think
you
I
guys a
get-
question? What makes you so miserable when I'm quiet? Because let's create this scenario. We will never agree to the T.
Yeah.
So I'm sure if
But-
we
but I
create
think
a
what you
scenario,
said-
if you create a scenario, and I want to use it, stick to the times where you can't not be home,
Yeah.
unexplained.
Yeah.
Till ixesha elithile,
Yeah. Touch
ne?
base, yeah.
Now 3 years into the relationship, I actually figure uba uyafika ngo-11, hey baby, right? Ndikugqibele ngofo ngoba uphuma emsebenzini. I don't know, you are unaccounted for, right? And then now you get home one day and I'm just silent, right? Now surely when you make your decisions about when you get home, you realize that as a human being, you have the authority to make decisions that affect you, and part of that decision is for you to come back at 11, because there's nothing bothersome to that in the physical timeness of it, whatever you call it. But now you get home to a silent Viwe.
Yeah.
Suddenly ngoku now unhappy. Yintoni ekwenza unhappy wena? Because I can justify why I'm unhappy.
Look,
when ungenaphi
in that context,
kwa-happiness
Viwe,
yam.
in that context, absolutely, I agree.
You
with
you're well
if you
within
have
your rights.
forewarned me, if you have if you have
No, most of
registered-
us have. We don't go to silent treatment before you know what we like.
speak for yourself, Viwe. There are people who literally at first offense or
Yeah.
sometimes you do not even know
Bro.
what you have done wrong. Somebody decides to reply with silence.
Bro,
Or not even silence, but silent treatment.
Umdu is triggered from something that they had not healed from.
Yes.
Umdu is triggered by something that they had not
I
healed
love
from.
that.
Ngoku, it happens for the first time in this relationship. Ngati yinto ekudala uyenza kanti umntu had not healed previously
No, but
from a similar situation.
love that.
So
Your
ngoku xa
counterpart started doing this thing.
yeah, so now that you're in this relationship, the first red flag that comes up, it takes you straight back there. Kandi, this is where you should be saying, Ndobana, dude, this is a red flag for me. Akanye, this is what happened with me before. So please try and avoid doing this.
I love what you
Bakhona
just said.
abantu abanjalo.
I love how you. It's not abantu abanjalo. One thing I want us to recognize. I love what you said.
Yeah.
But what I recognize from what you say, well, looking at me, maybe looking at dating in the general sense.
Yeah.
Is that, I mean, if you're my age, you're obviously carrying baggage from wherever you were before.
Straight.
Okay.
Straight.
Now, you too, as the offender in this situation,
Yeah.
carry your own baggage,
Yeah.
luggage yakho,
Yeah.
right? Can we ever then expect to date or be with people that satisfy us to the T? In other words, there is no silent treatment because they know how much you hate it. And you know, is it a reasonable ask? Because I know both of you have said it's childish. And I'm getting to that particularly because we might be discussing this one issue.
Yeah.
There's a myriad of issues, like too many issues that happen in relationships.
Yeah.
And most of them, aligning what I'm saying to what you said, have a lot to do with whatever you brought with you from wherever, things that you have not healed from, right? Can you ever call out somebody's action as childish if you understand what I've just said? Mawethu.
All right. I think it would be such a boring relationship where we do everything to the T. What makes a relationship is fights. Not
Kuliwe,
toxic
ne?
fights, not destructive fights, but, you know, the fact that
Disagreements.
the person signals that they care about you, you know. I remember one of these guys, there was a clip going around that ichere engakwatisiyo asiyocherry yakho.
Ayochere yakho,
And
mfethu.
if I ikwatisa, you should be worried because ikwatisa ibhari yakho.
Ikwatisa omunye umuntu, mfethu.
And if I silent treat, I'm loving where we're getting with this.
Absolutely.
If I
Look,
silent treat,
silent
she's
treating
silent
somebody else.
treating somebody else.
Those things
Exactly.
are cute, but to me, where it becomes childish is if we have a sit down when we are having our breakfast in bed and we've just had our nice pillow fight. When you are having a good time in great moments with your partner, right? And then you start having these conversations on a light-hearted mode, right?
Akumbe umntana.
No.
Oh.
But you're basically expressing yourself one to the other, right? That
Yeah.
maybe lendo yako of always going sulking on me or giving me a silent treatment andithandi. That is an occasion for you to say, no, I give you a silent treatment when I am tired of sounding like a broken record, right? I've been telling you countless times to desist with a particular behavior, but I feel unheard. That's why I just decide to retreat into my own space and just sever, you know.
So you
myself
want
from
it to actually be said.
So now, what is childish to me, in response to your question, is after we have both agreed what offends the other, okay, I first communicated that I don't like your silent treatment of me, and then you say, okay, granted, but I can't just, out of the vacuum, decide to give you silent treatment. I do not like you coming back home at 11. You do not say anything to me. You do not manage my expectations.
Yeah.
I feel disregarded. So the best way, the best reply to that is for me not to say anything and not to pretend as if I'm happy with you. I'm not impressed, but I'm tired of talking.
And I feel
Right.
unheard.
You feel unheard. So I believe if you tell me that the practice of coming at 11 p.m. every day is cancerous to our relationship, somehow, you know, change is not a one-day event,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I will, maybe out of 10 times, I might come home at 11 two times, but
I
when
understand.
I do, I have to manage that expectation.
Yeah.
Somehow, you also being silent does not recognize the fact that I have made an effort out of my comfort zone, right?
I understand that, and maybe also it speaks to what we agree to in these relationships, because it's easier for you to say maybe my offense is, and I'm honestly not referring to you in the personal sense, please, but it's easier for one party to justify their own righteousness, that I have tried out of 10 times to be home 8 times, and that was with effort, from my side, and I feel underappreciated, right? Whereas your partner could also say, well, the other times that you didn't come home, at least one of those times I didn't silent treat you. One of those times I spoke, or 2 of those times I did A, B, C, D, and F. Because naturally, every man proclaims their own righteousness.
Of course.
Every person will always stand on. And I think that's the understanding maybe we need to have in these relationships.
Agreed.
That maybe the silent treatment or any other offense, therefore, cannot be hard-lined as the greatest offense. Because as you said, good relationships, sort of a yin and a yang, one can call. There's a pull and there's a push. There's that activity, which is what keeps relationshiping, basically. Otherwise, I don't know, I've never gotten into, I'm the biggest failure in relationships, but I will forever die on the hill of love, by the way. I keep coming back and I keep,
Not the biggest failure,
You're doing
dude.
an incredible job. I know this.
Kuseko
I've got
Elizabeth
authority.
Taylor.
I've got authority on this. You're doing a brilliant job. But anyway,
but
my
a stellar
point,
job, bro.
we need to recognize effort. Relationships are about, they're about adding value. They're about cultivating one another.
and they're also about understanding.
About understanding.
Oh, hell yeah.
About understanding.
So you were saying we should not proclaim our own innocence or our own righteousness.
Everybody does.
Right?
It's impossible not to do that.
But my point is, right, if I say out of 10 times, I've tried at least 8 times, to come home on time or to communicate prior to me coming home that I will be late, to manage expectation with you. My point is we need to recognize each other's shifts, that ever since you spoke to me about this subject, I have seen how much it is of value to you and how much it keeps the fires burning at home when I do right.
Yeah.
So it is somehow your love language. It is the way you feel seen, you feel heard. So I started liking it because I can see how your face lights up when I do right by you.
Sure.
But just this once I make a mistake, we disregarding those efforts where I've tried to repair.
Yeah.
Right? Where I've tried to repair.
Yeah.
And it's like you are forever spotting every opportunity for me to make to make a mistake.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, and if I may add, Wesne, I think it's going to lead us to another topic altogether where in Ngoku you feel as though there's an eagle above you and you are just the prey. Basically, we're just watching your every movement. And whatever movement you make, there's something that I'm going to mention about it. I'm gonna use that as a build up towards my final.
I feel like you guys were flowing with me nicely till a certain point when you wanted to revert back to your hard positions.
When we start relationships, I'd like to believe that we promise each other milk and honey, right? But also there is that discussion when you're getting into a relationship with Umdu, these are my red flags and these are my parameters. I don't accept this and I don't accept that, right?
Yeah.
And as you get to learn each other in a relationship, you start to notice, these are the do's and don'ts, right? What then stops it? I don't like this. I was actually sitting and thinking the other day, there's a relationship where this couple had a mantra, we never fight about the same thing twice. Because if we fight about it twice, it means that then you don't appreciate how it made me feel the first time around. You know what I mean? Like, if mhlambe ndikwenze bugwenxe and you feel a certain way and you tell me about it and I do it again repetitively, it means that then I'm not catering for your emotions or your feelings. I'm not respecting the fact that you felt a certain way. Then it needs to be addressed, Londole. So not fighting about the same thing twice is we learn and we grow.
I want to come in there because I don't want us to be too idealistic. I want to
Yeah.
say, I know that in our own experience,
Yeah.
we've been in relationships where the same thing has come up more than once. Idealistically, we wouldn't want. I think all of us
sure.
would be in
The same
perfect
fight over.
relationships.
I
Yeah,
also
yeah,
do
we
not
were.
like those extreme situations where we say never. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, never say
absolutely.
never. Never's like
no,
forever.
I
It
don't
never
like those
comes.
extreme
Yeah.
situations.
I was saying,
I'm
you
just
guys.
adding to what you're saying.
I
I'm
was-
agreeing
yes.
with you. Viwe.
Yes,
I'm agreeing with you.
absolutely. I was saying ultimately that we were vibing together at a
Yeah.
point where we realized that some of these differences must occur for a relationship to
work.
to be a relationship.
Yeah.
But there's a point, of course, then when we know that now it's bordering on being toxic.
Yeah.
The behavior is
Yeah.
intentional.
Yeah.
The hurts are quite intentional,
Yeah.
and responding to them is actually an issue of survival.
Yeah.
If we can maybe as we close this one segment of the discussion, maybe get to a point where, I mean, I'm proposing, I'm not necessarily closing of the subject on
Yeah, yeah.
that, that where we get to a point where we understand, Uba, we are a bundle of experiences. I sit here as a bundle of experiences, and I present myself as the bundle of all those experiences, good and bad, right? And I've got trigger points in me, and I think every human being alive would like to feel safe in a relationship.
Yeah.
Whether it's you're coming home late, if we can just decode every action as, is this making me feel safe? If I don't feel safe, it might be unsafety from not feeling protected from maybe your family. If your family is after
Yeah.
my blood, I want to feel safe with my partner. I want to feel safe in the context of other people, whether it's your colleagues or other women or whatever the case might
Yeah.
be. And if you can then, because I think whatever your partner gives you as feedback, silence included, unfortunately, gents, as much as it's a tough thing to deal with, silence included, because that too is a form of communication. It's a way of saying, I feel unsafe, right?
Yeah.
And before,
I like the contrast there. Silence is a way of communication.
It's a way of
it
communication.
is a
Yeah,
way
yeah,
of
yeah.
communication. It is a way of saying, I feel unsafe. Now you are going to an unsafe person and looking for reason. That's why I said for me, then it becomes a platform for you to beautifully orchestrate a dance between
Yeah.
reasoning and making this person feel safe.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right? So if it's you're coming home late, maybe be in a position where you understand why the communication is this way.
Yeah.
Before you term it as childish, which I feel strongly against. Gentlemen,
I think
can
I've
we
explained
be...
why it's childish, but I understand what
Do
you're
you
saying.
understand?
I
Because
understand
everything
exactly what
that
you're saying.
happens between two people is constant communication. You might not like how that communication is coming.
By the way, childish goes both ways. You can't tell me, viewer, that you don't like it when I come back home at 11 and I still repeat the same offense.
Coming back home at
No.
11 is
That's
childish on its own.
as well.
No,
Coming
yeah,
back home,
but-
that
but-
repetitive behavior on
Yeah.
its own
But
is
as much
childish.
You
as-
have
as
clearly
much as-
expressed your disapproval of me coming back home late, and if I disregard that, at first I do admit, look, okay, I understand how you feel.
Yeah.
I understand how it makes you feel. I will do better next time.
Yeah.
And then what do? I go back to my old
Yeah,
ways.
exactly.
That's
It's the same damn
Yes.
thing, yeah.
But I know that relationship thrive better under circumstances where you actually say, when Umawetu did A, B, C, D, and F, did he intend for me to feel this way? Did he intend for me to feel this hurt, by his non-return? Because if you can still get to understand your partner's intention,
Yeah.
then you can maybe advocate for them even in your resolution of the issue.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Where
Yeah.
it gets lost is when you can't even find what their intention is. Then you're in a toxic situation, which is what I want us to move us towards.
Sure.
Okay.
So moving along silence, and now we're going to this very fragile ground.
Yeah.
Where naturally I've been dating you for a long time. So naturally, xazisuka bezisitsha mos fireworks,
Yeah.
ratatatata. Mos.
Yeah.
Ndithetha ngosili posturpedic. Mos.
The
Ndithetha
fertility
ngomandla.
dance.
Ibe nguratata jonga bekungabizwana bekuvela ukungena. Now balance that with whatever issues we've had, because trust me, as relationship ziqhubeka,
Yeah.
during the length or whatever of the time of being together, you naturally go through a whole lot of these silent treatments and so on
Yeah,
and so on.
yeah, yeah.
Ngoku kucinywa izibane phaa kwase-Siliposhopedic.
Yeah,
You know,
fine.
and something that I know that is a bit heavy, you know, where one partner decides ba ndilala nge-tracksuit, you know, because andivani no mawethu.
Uyavukisa ebathroom.
Ndilala nge-overall because uBrian by the way akadeserve nosondela ingase ankonke ingxela kwecam kwam.
Akhona laa nto into yoba sawubhrashana
Akho futhi
ngenyawo.
game here.
Yeah. Like ukubona mos xa nixabene niyi-couple, like you first know ubona okay ngathi ndizawumanyelwa apha.
Testing the water.
Yeah.
Qale ngenzwane.
Uqale nje ngenzwane phantsi kwenyawo kubekho laa reaction ezawuthi
adults are the same
elaa nyawo
all over the
lithi
world,
iyo
yeah.
uyayazi uba hayi ke ntango.
Kuyancokolwa.
Uyabona ke
You guys do that too?
Yeah,
You do that too?
Mamela,
I
bro,
don't ask me, I
Mamela,
don't do
here's,
that.
you want that moment where the foot comes over and the other one
Yeah.
reciprocates. That's where the angry Purinyakos comes in. Indobana, I'm angry with you, but here it is. On some
What's
here.
that you said earlier?
And then, yeah, man, stuff what you said earlier on. Yeah. Babe. You know what I mean?
Guys, in
where
a
that-
beautiful situation, I know of a story where a lady was saying to me, and we sat through a very uncomfortable conversation.
Yeah.
Hayi Viwe, utata belapha iminyaka minje.
Yeah.
Akasandisondeli.
Without
Ndade
playing
ndayolala
Rapid Tummy.
kwikamera ye-visitors. No, but actually I might be narrating this one story, but I also have another one. So it's not something that I haven't come across more than once in my life.
Yeah.
Where in a married situation, it's not only because I know naturally people will think the person overly silly post-traumatic is the woman. It also happens with guys where utate ekhaya. What happens in this? Is it honestly? Can you confirm uba utati noba kukhona apha imbiza izanyiswa khona? Uyabo?
Ndakhe ndabanda.
Like, can we really attach it to that? You know, that when one partner suddenly closes shop, kusili post-traumatic department, can we always, you know, is it always the
Naturally
case that
assume.
there is somewhere else where the silly is being served?
I could ask that question equally from a male's perspective
Both
to women.
ways.
To
Both
women
ways.
in Dobana, does it necessarily mean in Dobana you're getting it somewhere else as a woman when you close shop at home? Does it necessarily mean that? And I don't know, man. I think I'd be a terrible person to answer Lombuzo Lowo, but I do think in Dobana, weaponizing sex in a marriage or a relationship in Dobana, I am not going to give you any because of this. It shouldn't be.
No, it should.
Because ekugqibeleni, now you are giving room to that thought. For instance, if now my partner is I'm not getting any from her, right? Because of whatever reason. Naturally, what I'm going to first sit and think is there's someone else. Secondly, bro, it's not even going to be a matter of she's angry about this. Naturally, the first thing that it leads to is that there's someone else. And you start looking at Londoleyo, and that rabbit hole, it goes deeper and deeper, my friend. It doesn't help you with anything. And yet, it could have been resolved by speaking. Kwasekqaleni, instead of the cold, you know, the cold shoulder, okanye the cold back response that is now existent in a relationship.
So what's your take when Amawetu? Because thanks, Brian. Because naturally, we can't sit here and pretend like we don't know that
Yeah.
some silly
Yes,
post-traumatic
yes.
departments get
Yeah.
closed,
Correct.
whether we agree or not. You know, is it? I mean, what are your
I've
thoughts?
got two perspectives on it. Please remind me. I always say I've got two perspectives, and then I say the first one, and then I'm done.
Forget the second one.
Please remind me
I'm
of the
counting you
second.
down.
All
Number
right,
one.
The first one.
Number
The
one.
first one. I think we are sexual beings.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is unfathomable that a human being can decide to live without their conjugal rights. You know, there is something normally bigger than just the intimacy. That is a driving force behind weaponizing. You know, so until we unlock that or until we address that, you know, we'll always use this as a proxy.
Sure.
There is always something bigger than just this.
Sure.
Right, that needs to be addressed.
Sure.
Right. So, and again, what makes me a bit in a position of dis-ease about this subject is that it is always thought that it's men who get the satisfaction from sex. Yeah.
Both
It,
ways,
it
man.
goes both
Yeah.
ways. So
Yeah.
you're not doing your husband a favor, or your boyfriend or your partner a favor by having,
Those conjugal visits.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You're doing both yourselves a favor. It's a favor to both of you.
I actually have a
It's a
comment.
car, it needs a service, it needs petrol, it needs
Absolutely.
tires, it needs brakes.
That's one way. And then the second way, guys, I'm sorry if I'm gonna say this and if it's gonna be distasteful.
It's a safe space, bro. Let's go.
I guess it's spiritual.
Yeah.
Could be a spiritual attack
I
to
see.
that specific couple.
I see.
All right. Where, you guys mentioned something. Are you getting it elsewhere?
Yeah.
Now, it could be true
Yeah.
that I was getting it elsewhere.
Yeah.
But now this accounts for the failure in my own home, where it is actually sacred, where I
Exactly.
should be having it. So I went to fetch a spirit that is opposed
Exactly.
to what I have here. All right?
Exactly.
It doesn't matter what belief systems you come from.
Soul ties, my man.
Absolutely. So
Soul
I think
ties.
we should be girded down there.
Yeah.
Try and preserve it for your personal
Chastity
only.
belt.
Chastity belt, my man.
I want to actually
your,
come in.
your belt of truth.
Yeah.
I want to
they
come
say.
in on that
All right.
belt of truth.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
We're saying that we're belting out truth today.
Yo, ngatuzoza.
Brilliant.
Yapheka uview.
Not even.
Bapheka uview.
I always question. I work with facts from a point of questioning and being curious. So I'm
Yeah.
only just curious on this subject.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily disagreeing with what you're saying. I'm trying to balance out what you're saying about your right to having your whatever, your silly posturepedic. I feel like silly is a bit mild, which we can use on the show.
Your medical.
Yes, and I'm trying to balance that out with the rights of your counterpartner as well. Remember, we're living in a state and in a context and in a point in time where it is your right as an individual to vote, even with your husband, to vote for sex or vote against it. It is your human, basic constitutional right. Now, that therefore means I have a right to decide when, right? When. And how do I balance this right here?
This is how
That's
you balance
enshrined. Wait,
This is how you balance it. I have an
Dilinde,
answer.
wait.
I have an
How do we,
instant answer.
wait, before you become instant, I want to make sure you hear me properly.
Okay.
Then you can respond. How do you balance your right to having sex with your partner? Whether it is your wife, which would love for it to be your wife or your married partner. But siyayazi sibadala, some of us are in situations that are outside a seal of marriage.
Yeah.
How do you balance your right to having that with your partner's right to vote with her organs and her body? And if vote yakhe I ain't doing this with you for whatever reason. How do you then sustain that you still have a right?
Do not deny each other blankets.
I don't.
That's how you
Is
balance
that
it.
your comeback?
Yeah, but
man. Come back and balance me.
I don't
Bucinga.
think-
Bucinga.
I don't
I am not
think-
happy
Viwe,
with that
there's nothing
response.
to
I
think
don't
about
think
here. Do
it's-
not deny each other blankets.
Forget what was prescribed in the Bible. I love the Bible and I
Yeah.
respect all other religions,
That is why I
Qurans and
just
everything.
decided to just say
But I'm
it
just
plainly.
saying, has that? Because how important do you think? Forget how you feel about it. Because I think what you're forwarding to me now is, hey, don't deny each other blankets.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
a
yeah.
beautiful
It's true.
concept.
Yeah.
It's
But
true.
I'm saying now, let us think about it in the context of what we're saying. Because there is a lady or a guy who
Right.
says, listen, I reserve the right. Ukuve xa ungena kwimall, kuthiwe, Don't we reserve
Yeah.
the right. I reserve the right to decide what goes on in this body, marriage or not. I put up my vote as you make me feel. So you've made me feel, and I am now exercising my right to withdraw the sex from the table.
All right, let me put it this way, Viwe. And Mhlawumbi, I was very blunt at first. Mhlawumbi, the context will be much better and easier this time.
Aha.
Okay, this is how I perceive, or this is my education on the subject. I could be wrong. It is subjective. To men, sex is a need. Those fellas just cannot focus without. I'm not saying it is impossible to focus without sex if your mind should be in the right place, your thoughts should be in the right place. But to them, it is a need. For them to function properly and normally, they must have sex, you know? And then with women, it is not so much a need. For them, a need is more security, care, affection, and stuff. But to them, it is a want, really. So you've got those two, how can I say, different points of positionality or contrasting vantage points, where if I have a right to vote, let's discuss, okay, why you're not in a good position to present yourself to me today. Is it something I've said? Is it something I've
No,
done?
andifuni nje.
Awufuni?
Okay.
All
I
right.
am exercising my own right.
Okay.
Awuzufuna ekubeni nini?
All right. Nam.
We'll keep reading. We'll
All right.
see.
Okay, so 3 months
Remember,
later,
this
you
thing,
still expect
this
me
thing
into
can go
Banana
both
Jack?
ways. This thing, as long as you are, it will be acceptable to you. Nam, I'm not tired, by the way, now.
Yeah, absolutely.
When I am tired,
No,
and you are
this is
keen.
not a tit for tat situation. I want to actually come in on something before you complete. Because remember, what we're trying to do here is to interrogate some of these stereotypes that we exist with. You know, I sat here and listened to you and I was like, okay, happy. I'm happy from a point of familiarity with you saying men actually need sex to survive or to function optimally. And for women, it's more like a pleasure that one can have. Because I think if I were to then maybe come back to you directly on that very one,
Yes.
You seem to not have chosen a side on that particular topic. Because I remember you earlier on saying, Oba, women almost advance a point in Gati, they are being done a favor. Okay, I mean, they're doing a favor
Yes.
when they offer a silly posturepedic to men. Right? And then in the same breath or in the same conversation, you still carry a notion that women don't really need it. Actually, abona abantu bayinidayo, amen, abanye bayenza nje for pleasure. It does seem like two positions for me.
Oh.
Let me first maybe finish,
Okay.
then you will come in and you will
Sorry.
because I'm not engaging you on something that didn't come from you, by the way. I'm engaging you on both things that came from you because initially you said women shouldn't make men feel like they are doing them a favor for offering them sex. It's their right. And then in the same breath, and also it's kuye kumnandi macala. It's kumnandi macala, which was a position I'm familiar with because I'm a grown woman and I know bakukhe kube mnandi macala, you know. But
It should be.
Kumnandi macala, right?
100% of the time.
But also now ndibhideke ngoxa uzawubuya usithi then it's a need for men and a delicacy nyana for women. You know, it's something that we enjoy, but tina sifuni safety and so on. Because at the core of
I will
that
explain
one,
myself.
yeah, what I
But good
recognize.
observation, good listening capacity, by the way.
Thank you.
Viwe.
But at face value, when I interact with the information you're giving me,
Yes.
because I'm here to be educated, I did say, I'm picking up those two positions, but also there is a flaw in the way those stereotypes are shaped.
Okay.
You know, there's a big flaw in assuming that men need it and women have it as a delicacy. Because I always say when we have such stereotypes, we need to also then go back and question where they come from. You know, what could have then contributed to that as a concept, right? But I do want to give you a chance to clarify if I've
Yes,
captured your
thank you.
information wrongly. Yeah.
Thank you, Viwe.
Yeah.
No, I'm impressed with how you've been listening to me. Hey, I should be careful with the things I say. Otherwise, what I
Careful
say
of
will
the
be
words
used
you
against
say
me.
and
All
keep
right.
them soft and sweet. You never know from
Viewer-
day to day which one's viewer will make you eat.
You see, this woman. So basically,
Brian.
what I said was sampled from Dr. Miles Monroe, right? It is something that when he taught about, I accepted as
truth.
more, truth and pragmatism, right? That's why I sort of like laid out a disclaimer that it is not really the gospel truth. It is subjective. That is my point of view. about
Absolutely.
it,
Absolutely.
Right? So whatever you penalizing me on, you purely penalizing me on a point of view.
I'm
But
just
open-minded-
interrogating. I'm just interrogating.
open-minded to other points of view.
Absolutely.
I'm just saying traditionally, an approach to sex, you can judge it for yourself. From the male perspective, is different from a female perspective, right? Men have been, I don't know what's the word, guys, you will fight with me, but it's just my point of view from my little experience. 45 years is not a long time. Men have been much more reckless when it comes to sex in comparison to women, right? This is not going to be a toe-to-toe thing to say women are worse or men are worse. I'm just saying men have been always known to be much more, or rather, women are more restrained when it comes to matters of sex in comparison to men, because of that analogy I made of a need, right?
Look, I
Right?
get what you're saying.
Yes. And women, you can go to a history of sexual offenses. The biggest perpetrators, the biggest people who betray. All right, I won't say any further. Go and make your own.
No, you
analysis.
need to complete yourself.
No.
No, the reason why I want you to complete.
I don't want
because
this to take a different what
yeah.
you call.
I think
I'm just buttressing my point here.
I think
Say-
you've certainly sparked a curiosity in me, a topic that maybe we should have for another session, where we actually speak about these stereotypes,
Yeah.
that seek to define the sexual roles of males and females in relationships. One which maybe, we then can expand further on, that, as you are saying, traditionally men, and I would love to have that conversation.
Yeah.
But because of time and in the context of today's topic, I'm going to move on. And I'm going to move on, Brian, to something that, there's a term in society that is used so loosely, Wes, right? Toxicity in relation. Guys, we decided to have this topic because we also understand that as much as kudla ngothwa econcertini abangaphakathi bayatsha econcertini.
Yeah.
Bathi vulani ifesile zivulwe kuxine ezifesileni abafuna ungena. Nabasemnyango bafuna ungena.
Abasemnyango bathi
Abasemnyango
vulani
bafuna
iminyango,
ungena,
sifuna ungena.
abaphakathi bafuna phandle.
Yeah.
So wherever you find yourself, there's work for you to do. There's work whether you're in a relationship.
Yeah.
There is work for you in the relationship, whether you are wanting to get inside or not. So the topic today was particularly to say maybe let's then also get to the work that's required in these relationships. Now there's this new thing, man. There's nobody if it holds meaning, because it's so overused, the term of toxicity.
Yeah.
Where people are saying, you are in a toxic relationship, over a toxic relationship, And part of that speaks to the dynamics, the relationship dynamics of those that are in the relationship.
Yeah.
And out of those, you'll have terms coming out, such as gaslighting. And my understanding of gaslighting, as it was written, is that iyafana nomuntu who uhleli apha kwesi-studio. They keep turning the light. But it's with such subtle actions that it's difficult for you to see the behavior as abusive, or as disempowering to you, because ayenziwa it once. It's like, wotuka 4 years down the line, you awusazazi negama. You have lost the essence of who you are. True practices ezifana ne-indoctrination. They keep telling you, for you to be a better woman, yazi bingaske ubani, and through all that, and you tend to lose yourself in such situations. And unfortunately, indoor gaslighting needs term.
Yeah.
Is a uzibone effects of having been gaslit.
Yeah.
It's usually over a long time.
Over a while.
And what's your thoughts on that? And I know that some people get discouraged from being in relationship because, but you want the gaslight, hello, is on phone. I mean, what's your thoughts on that subject?
I'm gonna give you two responses. One, I sincerely believe in Dobana, no one is doing anyone any favors when it comes to sex. First of all, we both need it. And
you're still on that?
Yeah, I know.
I love that.
No.
Okay.
I want to start there before I come to
We both
gaslighting.
need it, okay?
We both need it, and that is why we were designed differently. No one's doing anyone any favors here. It is by choice whether or not you decide to have your sexual relations with the same kind of sex or with the opposite sex. That's completely up to you.
No, absolutely. And we respect that.
Yeah. Fully respect that. But yona pedicals ziyadingeka amacala. Let's be honest.
Fair point.
The Urban Dictionary definition of the word gaslighting, it goes along the lines of saying, you know, when someone causes you to question your own mental processes and your own thoughts, right? That is the Urban Dictionary definition of the word gaslighting. Now, in a relationship, I'm trying to know where are the points at which I'm being gaslit here? Where is it that I'm being made to question my own mentality, my own mental state?
Yeah.
And the moment you start questioning yourself, no, come on.
Can I create a scenario?
Yeah, yeah.
I want to create scenarios because when you speak at a level of principle for me, it becomes problematic because I want somebody who's sitting at home to be like, yeke, diayazli, do you understand? Because at principle level, sana singayiculi kwaya sitting right?
Yeah.
So this guy, and I'm a woman, so unfortunately,
no,
you know, I
please,
always speak from that point here, but you're dating this man.
Yeah.
Now you are now made aware, whether it's through direct observation, or where the bony phone, or you hear reliably. But masbayeko hearsay because we're gonna be factoring in
where you
another
are
person.
now physically.
Where you interact with data and information that suggests that Lomdo is not being honest with you.
Yeah.
Ne? Usibonile so itu.
Yeah.
And I know ba kukho lalingo yoba bras uvuma. Do you understand? So ivuma.
The longest river in Africa, denial.
Okay, denial.
You guys,
And it's a bro
guys are
code.
funny.
And it's a bro code that's well accepted. But so ivuma, bra.
Yeah.
Bon. And
Until there's proof. And even if there is proof, lie close to the truth. You must lie very
but
close
still
to
lie,
the truth. Yeah,
right?
Lie very
and
close
I
to the truth.
I'm taking you on as gentlemen that are here. You know, we know, but part of, I know I wasn't here for the episode where you covered what you guys discuss, whatever.
Yeah.
And I might not be privy, I'm not even interested in those conversations. But I sit here convinced that. Let me say, because
there isn't even a touch of that. I can say that comfortably. No, because
I haven't completed the question.
stereotype.
Because now you're throwing a stereotype.
No,
in
but
this matter
I'm
and-
using, no, it's a stereotype, and I could never be irresponsible enough to say it applies to all.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, let's stick to my scenario. Can you stick to
Yeah.
my scenario?
Okay. Cool. Okay. Sticking to the
so
scenario.
that you don't
Yeah.
personalize this thing.
Yeah.
You stick to your scenario. Let's characterize this situation and
Gaslight.
let's see
Yeah.
what, you know.
Yeah.
Hayi mjita ke ngoku. Hayi. Ubhaqwele kuthiwa yintoni? 99.
99. Yeah.
99. In fact, kwayibhrukhu inxibe ngokusejongiwe. Right?
This is not what it looks like.
Isidima sakhe sibuya ngoku selapha kwi-crime scene.
Yeah.
But ithi ibra kandenze loo nto. Ane?
This is not what it looks like.
Do you understand? And I almost want to advocate before I ask you the question, and I don't want to come in before I ask you the question, right? If you had to comment on that, in the context of gaslighting, what is that guy doing to the girl?
It's a perfect example of what we're talking about.
Gaslighting.
Thank you. So, navigators, I hope that also became a lesson for you, because what we're trying to show here is that when you're speaking about these terms, it's not something that's outside what you might be familiar with.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
It could be somebody othatha le nto ibonileyo afuna uba ngokulala ebusuku mani uyicinga hayi mani
Direct translation of gaslighting.
hayi mani ibiyiyo hayi ingabiyiyo, you know. And I hope that from this discussion you become empowered enough to understand the situation that you're in.
No, gaslighting is not just about denying, by the way.
No, but denial.
It's denying. It's denial. Then also pouring scorn on the lady who's accusing you. You are always looking for errors.
You're gonna find what you're looking for.
You're never appreciating me. You are always complaining about
this
is
that,
why
I did what I did.
This is what
you are
pushed
the
me into
the reason I did it.
Now all of a sudden it's been switched on you, but now you found me in this
manipulation.
You pushed me to this.
Classic manipulation.
And may I also add
that
it does not have to carry the aggression that Brian and Mawetu just demonstrated. You know, it doesn't have to be you have to be.
Yeah,
It can be as
yeah.
soft
Subtle.
as
Subtle.
I did
babe.
what I did because you didn't speak to me last
Yeah.
night.
Yeah.
I did what I did because you know what I mean.
You
So
don't-
it's not necessarily aggressive.
Ooh, I did what I did because Kalogu, you are weaponizing sex.
Exactly.
I did what I did because you are giving me the silent treatment. You see how it all ties up.
Somebody said to me once,
You
guys,
see
can
how
I also
I see.
interesting how this,
see what you
interesting
did
how
there.
today's topic has just tied itself
Imagine-
up. Yeah, well,
Listen, imagine
Wow.
somebody says to me, to all of us,
yeah.
side view.
Yes, when I can.
Side
Ow.
view.
Yes,
All
when I
right.
can.
Okay.
Doctor to be.
Okay.
I cheated because you don't trust me.
Yo,
Like,
how does it help his
Bro.
cause?
How does
No, but-
how does your action of cheating now?
no, but listen, even
Justify.
even in my most rebellious state, because I rebel. Well, I would like to think I don't just take anything.
Yeah.
Bro, gaslighting is real. You know,
It is.
How am I an enemy to myself? Because I could just simply trust this guy. Not because I can't get a reason not to trust them in the
Yeah.
first place, but I could just simply trust them. But if I can also cannibalize on my own happiness by
Yeah.
distrusting him. So I'm just trying to say, Uba, gaslighting is the most complex phenomenon, because it doesn't always happen. It's not like ubethwa. It's not like physical abuse where
Yes.
someone is clearly on the offensive side.
Yeah.
Yabona?
Yeah.
It could also be hidden in gestures. ezingathi
Subliminal,
love.
dude. Yeah, it's subliminal.
Yeah,
it's
subs.
subtle.
Yeah.
It's subtle. Absolutely. Very subliminal.
Yeah.
G.
Navigators, it is our hope today that we have opened up this topic for you to explore further. It is our hope today that you are able to profile yourself as a lover and maybe to see your own behavioral traits. It is also our hope that we have assisted you in maybe defining the situation that you find yourself in love in. Ultimately, love is something to be explored. I think through love, we learn a lot about ourselves, and as it should be. I don't think any of us is here to be any permanent thing to anybody else before we are permanent some things to ourselves. May we find love. May we be healthy in love. But before we even go and we find love with a counterpartner, may we be curious about ourselves. I hope we get to a point where we know ourselves enough for us to trust ourselves enough to process and not to ignore information and data given to us by our counterparts. Ningahlali, guys, in situations that aren't fitting and that aren't giving you growth. Gaslighting is real. It's a problem. And a lot of people are stuck in relationships and love situations where they no longer recognize who they are and they no longer know what they were about to begin with. We do hope and pray for all of you that you may find your breakthrough. And for everybody entering a relationship, we're not ignoring red flags. We are not trading off our power. We are not disempowering ourselves only just to love another person. May love empower us. May love become something so beautiful that adds to our lives. And may we all find it healthily. It is a wrap.